Despite significant growth in the number of women working in technology and IT roles, female representation in the sector has stalled over the last number of years. The number of women in important IT and technology roles has always been dramatically low than that of men. While employers are trying their utmost to employ more women in the sector, there seems to be a lack of women entering, which many say it's mainly due to IT and technology being deemed as a male dominated subject to study at school. Though the tech industry is becoming more diverse and companies are creating resource groups to help them grow their diverse team, the gender gap is still an issue which needs tackling.
Uju, glad to have you on Tech Trends today.
Thank you so much for having me, CFA.
Awesome. Let's start by looking at the startup ecosystem. How would you rate it today?
Well, it's really fast growing. In Nigeria, I think in 2019, Nigerian startups had raised about $700 million. But when you compare that to the Indian startup ecosystem, where they raised over $63 billion, you'll see that we still have some ways to go.
I mean, you mentioned India, and I wonder, do you think that our startups have a chance to also compete globally like the Indian startups are doing?
Definitely. We've had some real success stories with people like Paystack that's been acquired, and Flutterwave that's a $1 billion valuation as of today. So I think, yes, we do definitely have. In EduTech, we have ULesson, who's raising significant amount of money. We have people in renewable energy, and some of them are scaling across Africa. So yes, we do have that potential.
All right, but what are some of the ways that we can actually grow our ecosystem? And I think I'll use the word consciously. Maybe that's what's lacking.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because when you look at places like India, government has a separate fund for startups. A lot of the initiatives we see in Nigeria don't actually have a separate fund for startups. Startups are different from SMEs, and most of the funds are kind of geared towards SMEs. And if you judge startups by those metrics, the startups will not be eligible for the funding. So startups need a lot of money to grow. They have a different set of criteria that you should use to judge them. Their prototype development, their proof of concept, and things like that. So understanding the startup ecosystem is very crucial. We need policy that enables and improves participation. We need more incubators and accelerators.
Maybe we should dive a deeper into that. From your experience, what are some of the challenges that you think startups face today?
So number one is funding, because like I said, startups need a lot of money to grow, and they need to scale. So funding is key. They run out of money fast. They need money so that at the next valuation they can raise more money, and eventually the exit plan is maybe to get listed or get acquired. So funding is key, and then we have infrastructure issues, energy, internet access, and things like that. But we need more mentoring, coaching, a community of that startup ecosystem where all the problems that we have, we can kind of bring them to the table and see if policy can help to enhance startups.
Okay, so tell us a bit about your journey. Why the startup ecosystem? Why not the bank, or why did you choose to join the ecosystem and solve problems with technology?
My father, let me say that my father was my first mentor, really, because he would ask me to do all kinds of tasks. I worked in his factory. He would give me tasks to do. I just thought it was cheap labor. But he made me read Time magazine and all these magazines. And every day I'd see companies listed on the NASDAQ, or, during the dot-com bubble, companies would start with, let's say $10 valuation, it will grow by 400% before, So all that was fascinating to me. And I could just see that, the Silicon Valley, that whole ecosystem was really, really fascinating to me. And my brother started this web design company in 1999, where we were already working with teams in India. and I was forced as a thrown into the deep end. I was forced to learn a bit of HTML and content management systems. So this has always been like a part of me, but I didn't even know it was called the startup ecosystem, or I didn't know what it was called. But I've always been fascinated by how you can solve problems on a large scale, and Nigeria has a lot of them.
So what problem are you trying to solve?
I'm trying to solve the problem of unemployment, flexible working, remote work, especially for like women who find out that they sometimes they have to make hard choices. But I believe that the time is right to work on a platform that can help people expand their opportunities, help them get remote work, flexible work, where they can work from anywhere. So our platform is going to connect trusted, vetted professionals with SMEs and CEOs who are looking for executive assistants or virtual assistants.
Yeah, and as a woman in this space, how has the experience been?
Well, Nigeria is a very unique place. We have a way that we go around all our challenges. The average person has 2 SIM cards, 2 networks, 2 bank cards, Visa, MasterCard, 2 internet service providers in case this one doesn't work. Is in Nigeria, you hear stuff like, let's switch networks. Oh, try this one. Is this one working? Or what network is that? So there are challenges. Infrastructure, funding, like I said, banks don't understand service businesses. They don't understand startups, so they're kind of trying to measure you by the traditional businesses like agri and healthcare and, manufacturing, and it just doesn't work.
Finally, how do we increase? I mean, March is a International Women's Month. How do we increase the number of women in both the startup ecosystem and the tech ecosystem?
I think women have a lot of imposter syndrome. So the average person feels like, can I really be a tech founder? But the truth is, you can get a CTO or a co-founder, and don't give up on your dreams. Pursue your dreams. There's no one who's born like a tech, a geek or a unicorn. Just pursue those dreams. And I would say to society also that they should start to change their expectations, or what they feel that are traditional roles. Because I see all these, when summer comes, you see summer camps and they say for girls it's cooking, and for boys it's coding and things like that. We really need to get more girls involved in tech because there are too many problems and not enough people solving them.
I'm happy that I spoke with a woman in tech today. Uju, thank you for being on the show today. I wish you all the best as you build.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.